The story began with a girl in a pretty dress stepping out of a carriage in a beautiful city. On her way to the Royal Academy, she saw an old lady who looked sick, so she stopped to help. She took the old lady to her house and healed her using her special powers. The old lady's daughter thanked her, but the girl with pink hair apologized for taking too long since she was still only at level 1. The daughter then realized she was one of the students at the Royal Academy and told her that the gates close at 6 o'clock. The girl rushed to the academy, but when she reached the gate, a boy with blue hair was closing it and she couldn't get in. The boy asked her name in class and she introduced herself as Alicia, a first-year student. He then told her about the strip rules and suggested she find somewhere to stay for the night and return the next day. Alicia said she didn't have much money and the boy recognized her as the commoner who had received a full scholarship to the academy. He then mentioned a way to sneak in through the eastern wall where students who often broke curfew went. Alicia thanked him and asked for his name. He introduced himself as Oswald Grimsard and Alicia was surprised because his father was a minister. She thanked him and left. On her way to the eastern side of the academy, Alicia met a boy who was also trying to sneak in. He introduced himself as William Aries, a first-year student. He explained he had been sent to buy drinks for a celebration and offered to help Alicia climb the wall. He led her to the dormitory through the rooftop. As they walked, William tripped and they both fell onto students below. Alicia landed on a boy named Edwin Valshine and quickly apologized. To her surprise, Edwin revealed he was the second prince of a kingdom, which shocked Alicia, as the academy was full of noble children. The scene switched to the director scolding them for causing trouble and reminding Alicia that she was the only commoner with a full scholarship because she was skilled in light magic. The director warned her to be more careful in the future. They were given extra chores for a week. Afterward, the director talked to himself, hoping Alicia was strong enough to save them from the great demon king, since she was their only hope. Back in Alicia's room, she felt sad about her rough first day. Then she heard commotion outside. The guards were looking for an intruder and Alicia heard a noise near her window. She grabbed something and hit the intruder, who turned out to be Edwin. He was investigating something and had gotten caught. He promised to explain more later. The scene changed to Edwin, still in Alicia's room. He said he couldn't leave now or he'd be caught and asked if he could hide there for a while. Alicia shocked and agreed. In the darkness, they sat quietly. Edwin broke the silence by apologizing and saying a gentleman like him shouldn't invade a lady's room, but had no choice. Alicia said it was fine, feeling like she was dreaming since she had never spoken to a royal before. Edwin shared that royals and nobles had always surrounded him, and this was the first time he was talking to someone from a common background. He then asked if common women were as violent as her. Annoyed, Alicia said she hit him because she thought he was a thief, which was a natural reaction. Edwin laughed, said he was joking, and said he didn't want her to hit him again. Alicia laughed too, and Edwin asked her not to tell anyone about what happened. She reassured him she wouldn't say anything. Edwin thanked her before leaving, saying the place was now safe. Before he left, he told Alicia he wanted to see her at the entrance ceremony the next day and wish her a good night. The next day, during the entrance ceremony, Alicia stood in line with other new students in front of the director. She saw signals from Will and Edwin and kept looking at Edwin until she accidentally bumped into a girl in front of her. The girl asked if Alicia had a problem and surprised her by knowing her name. The girl said she recognized Alicia and asked if she was sick. Alicia replied that she was fine, and the girl went to sit down as the ceremony was about to begin. Suddenly, the scene shifted to Alicia, Will, Oswald, and Edwin fighting against Yumella, the black-haired girl. They warned her to stop fighting, saying her demonic luck was about to run out, but she didn't listen. Yumella readied her spears and released a terrifying aura as she attacked. Will managed to block the spears with his sword, while Oswald used his magic to stop some of her strikes. Edwin did the same to fend off Yumella's attacks. Together, they held their ground against her. Alicia then used her special holy light magic to defeat Yumella. Afterward, Prince Edwin thanked Alicia and hugged her. However, Yumella, now defeated, woke up and revealed it had all been part of a game called The Light and Hero. The game occurred in a world of swords and magic where Alicia enrolled at the Royal Academy, formed bonds, and grew stronger. Eventually, she defeated the Demon King, but a hidden boss appeared, revealing that the story wasn't over yet. The scene shifted again to Yumella, who began narrating her own story. At 15, as she headed to the Royal Academy, she recalled regaining memories from her past life when she had been 5 years old. She remembered being hit by a truck in her previous life and being reborn in this new world of light and heroism. However, she faced discrimination because her black hair was seen as an omen of evil. Yumella strived to reach level 70, aiming to surpass the secret boss in the game. She questioned her purpose in the story, as she had dark magic abilities usually given to villainous characters. Instead of getting involved in romantic plots or forming close relationships with others, Yumella decided to live a quiet life at school, avoiding Alicia and the main characters. By her 3rd year, Yumella planned to become stronger to prepare for the Demon King's defeat by Alicia and the boys. The story then shifts to young Yumella encountering a slime monster. She used her dark magic to defeat it and collected a magic stone. She trained daily, leveling up by collecting magic stones from monsters and buying tools to boost her level with a growth necklace. One day, Yumella entered a dungeon to battle stronger monsters and acquired a summoner's flute, which allowed her to summon monsters. She continued to use this flute every day to level up. Yumella arrived at the school and was amazed to see the building looked exactly like in the game. After getting to her room, she read a message from her father urging her to attend the Royal Academy and meet noble children in hopes of finding a husband to secure her inheritance. The next scene showed Yumella overhearing an announcement about the main gates closing at 6 o'clock per the rules. As she watched Alicia and Oswald, she realized everything was unfolding like in the game. She decided to avoid getting involved with them and tried to live a peaceful life. The entrance ceremony began where everyone was evaluated based on their level in front of the academy. As she had said, Alicia went first and was revealed to be level 1. Then William's level was revealed to be 10, which surprised everyone. Yumella, who had hoped for a level 5, started to feel anxious. When it was her turn, she placed her hand on the crystal ball and the evaluation showed her level was 99, astonishing the entire academy. No one had ever had such a high level before. Yumella hadn't realized how strong she was. The director had asked her to bring another magical tool to double-check her power, but even with a different tool, her level was still 99. The assistant teacher confirmed the reading, asking if Yumella knew her level was so high. Suspecting foul play, the director had accused her of tampering with the tool, but Yumella had insisted that her level was genuine, claiming she had earned it by fighting monsters. The director had demanded the truth, but Yumella had stayed silent, leaving everyone stunned by her abilities. The director told the students to wait until class started to find out the truth to calm things down. Yumella had been told to greet her classmates and return to her seat. As she greeted them, they called her a cheater. Feeling the pressure, Yumella considered running off after the test. All the students had gone to a dinner ceremony for the initiation, and Yumella had looked around for familiar faces but found none. Realizing no one would stay with her, she decided to leave early. Just as she was about to go, Will questioned how she had pulled off her trick. Upset that her high level had overshadowed his achievements, he had accused her of wanting attention and asked where her pride as a noble was. Edwin had intervened, calming Will, and Yumella introduced herself as the daughter of Count Darkness. Edwin explained that Will had worked hard in sword training and reached level 10 before attending school. Yumella had stood her ground, insisting her level was 99, just like the assessment had shown. Oswald had disagreed, saying a level 99 wasn't believable. Yumella had thought everyone there was lying. Suddenly, Edwin challenged her to show her level 99 magic. Yumella had refused, fearing it would cause more trouble. She pointed to a girl with pink hair who was dealing with similar issues. The boy with blue hair had called her foolish, and Will had told her they'd find out the truth once classes began. Later, Yumella returned home and told her maid, Rita, that she was tired and hadn't made any friends at the event. Rita, concerned about Yumella's feelings, listened as Yumella wondered if Prince Edwin would think badly of her level 99. Yumella asked Rita about something Edwin had said, and Rita explained that central nobles held positions in the capital, while regional nobles like Yumella's father hadn't. The following day, Yumella stayed alone in class, thinking it was better to avoid attention. Whispers spread about her being the girl with black hair who claimed to be level 99. Yumella overheard and wondered if they wanted proof. Alicia walked in with Prince Edwin and Yumella, recalling Alicia's first-day trouble, worried that her actions might have changed the outcome of the story. After 3 hours of class, they headed to the garden for sword fighting. They were given wooden swords, and the teacher announced they'd take turns fighting. Eager for a match, William told Yumella she'd be his opponent. Yumella planned to balance her magic and strength. Yumella dodged William's attack when the fight began and easily knocked him down. The students were shocked, and Yumella asked if they were done. The teacher declared Yumella the winner, but William challenged her again. This time, Yumella threw him down again, leaving the students fearful. The teacher sent Yumella away while taking William to the healer. Yumella wished him no harm, thinking Alicia could have healed him. In practical magic class, Yumella joined a new group. The teacher announced they'd demonstrate their magical abilities by targeting a statue. While students showed off their elemental powers, Yumella reflected on her limited skills with the basic elements. She had always focused on physical strength and dark magic. Oswald demonstrated his magic, easily hitting the target with all 4 basic elements, impressing everyone, including the teacher. The teacher then turned to Yumella, who asked if she could break the armor stand. They explained that the armor was designed to resist even the strongest magic, which was only breakable by mages as powerful as those in the palace. The teacher challenged her, confident in her dark magic. Yumella agreed and used her weakest dark spell. Upon contact, the armor began to dissolve instantly, shocking the onlookers. The dark energy looked like fire but wasn't hot, melting stone and metal effortlessly. Yumella explained it was dark magic, admitting she hadn't been skilled in other elements. The teacher clarified that dark magic wasn't evil, recalling how palace mages had used it. The students were speechless, unable to grasp her power fully. Oswald, in disbelief, refused to accept someone could surpass him and stormed off angrily. Suddenly, Edwin approached Yumella and handed her an exposé, telling her that her expulsion had been decided. He explained that she wasn't qualified to attend the Royal Academy, emphasizing that anyone who had lied about their abilities didn't belong at the academy or in noble society. Yumella responded casually, suggesting that moving to another country wouldn't have been a bad idea. Unexpectedly, the teacher asked the headmaster to wait, believing Yumella was a rare and valuable dark magic user. The teacher pointed out that Yumella had been able to destroy a target even palace mages would have struggled with, and her level 99 might have been real. The headmaster then told Yumella to prove her powers to avoid expulsion and challenged her to convince him. Yumella realized they wanted to expel her, but the teacher pleaded with her, asking her to show her full magical strength. Feeling pressured, Yumella decided to demonstrate her power, but she wondered if she was allowed to use magic before she did. Prince Edwin agreed, saying he'd take responsibility for any consequences, assuring her that a bit of magic wouldn't cause any harm. Yumella then unleashed her most powerful dark magic, the same kind used by the Demon King in battles. She activated a black hole, covering the sky and causing the earth to shake. Intense winds whipped through the area and everything started being pulled in with incredible force as the area turned into a vacuum. Just before disaster struck, Yumella canceled the spell. Everyone was left in awe at the terrifying display of her power. Yumella turned to Prince Edwin and asked for his opinion, questioning whether he now believed she was at level 99. Edwin, speechless and overwhelmed by what he just witnessed, couldn't find the words to respond. Yumella stood in front of the king in the royal palace, surrounded by people who were shocked that she had reached level 99 and had just summoned a black hole. She stepped closer to the king and he told her that he knew about what had happened at the academy. His son and the teachers seemed rude to her, and he apologized for their actions. Everyone was shocked that the king had apologized to Yumella. Yumella admitted that she had acted recklessly and caused problems. The king agreed, saying the judgment against her had been based on assumptions and hadn't properly considered her abilities, which he thought was unfair. He asked the captain of the knights, Adolphe, to decide if she was legitimate. Adolphe was revealed to be the kingdom's strongest knight with a level of 60. Since one needed at least level 60 or 70 to face the Demon King in the game, it was clear that he was strong. He attacked Yumella with full force. Yumella wondered whether she should counterattack since the king hadn't said whether to dodge or fight back. To everyone's surprise, Yumella decided to dodge by bowing down, leaving both the king and Adolphe speechless. Adolphe said that no knight had ever dodged his attacks and that Yumella's level must have been 99. The king asked Yumella to show her magic and Yumella demonstrated her dark magic. The king then asked the head magician what he thought, and he explained that dark magic, like the four elements, had its strengths and weaknesses. He also said that like light magic, it was neither good nor evil. It depended on how the user wielded it. The king told Yumella that people feared things they didn't understand and thought her black hair might be seen as a bad omen for the same reason. Yumella was confused, wondering if the king was saying all this to help her. The king then said that she had reached a level no one in this world had ever reached. He asked how she had gotten so strong, and Yumella explained that she had leveled up by hunting monsters and exploring dungeons alone, using the summoner flute to summon monsters and defeating them all. Everyone in the palace was stunned that she had done all this without any protection and on her own. The king asked Adolphe if he could do the same, and Adolphe admitted that he would have been scared to enter a dungeon alone and would never have gone without his protection talisman. The king then told Yumella that he wanted her to use her strength to protect the kingdom. He believed she was strong enough to fight the Demon King. Yumella agreed, saying she would be the shield for the kingdom and risk her life to protect it. The king was thrilled and offered to reward her, telling her she could ask for anything, even to join the royal family. Though it sounded generous, Yumella suspected he wanted to tie her to the kingdom. She thought about it and then told the king that she just wanted to live peacefully and safely within the kingdom. However, Yumella decided that if anything strange happened in the kingdom, she might escape to another country. Later, Yumella was invited to the queen's chamber where she met the queen. The queen thanked Yumella for coming and told her there was no need for formalities, so she could relax and be herself. She mentioned that she wanted to talk about something important but keep it private. The queen explained that many nobles hid their greed and tried to get close to the royal family, but Yumella was different and the queen could tell. She then revealed a secret only the royal family and a few nobles knew. The Demon King would return in 2 years, stronger than before. The royal family had planned to defeat him with a small elite group including Edwin. They were determined to stop the Demon King at all costs. After thinking it over and understanding how serious the situation was, Yumella agreed to help, as she had planned to face the Demon King herself. However, the queen pointed out that if Yumella defeated the Demon King, it could cause doubts about the royal family's legitimacy. To avoid this, she suggested that Yumella marry into the royal family. Yumella instinctively rejected marrying Prince Edwin, but apologized for her quick response. She explained that she needed time to think about such an important decision. The queen understood and mentioned that Yumella's father might pressure her to marry the hero's family, which could mess up their plan. The queen promised to issue a royal order to prevent that marriage, but it would only delay things for about 3 years. Back at home, Yumella talked to her maid Rita about her meeting with the king and queen. Even though her father had been suggesting potential noble matches, Yumella remained calm and focused on simpler things like enjoying tea and pastries. Meanwhile, the king and queen had discussed Yumella's impressive abilities. They thought her isolation from her parents and the discrimination because of her black hair had led her to achieve level 99 at just 15 years old. As Yumella caught the attention of noble children, she carefully navigated proposals and alliances, avoiding political issues and sticking with those who supported the king's faction. This had caused nobles from the opposite faction to suggest that she marry them. One young man arrogantly suggested that Yumella marry him because of his superiority, but Yumella questioned his leadership skills. She warned him that being associated with her could raise suspicions and cause problems, and he quickly backed off, leaving Yumella to think about the encounter. Later, Yumella unexpectedly met Eleonora, the daughter of Duke Hill Rose, who was known for controlling the girls at the academy. Eleonora had been happy to see Yumella and invited her for tea. They talked about things like perfume, which Yumella found boring. Eventually, Eleonora got to the point and demanded that Yumella give up on Prince Edwin. Yumella had been confused and clarified that she wasn't involved with Prince Edwin, and it was actually Alicia who spent time with him. Eleonora had been surprised and accused Yumella of lying, saying that Yumella had told the queen she wanted to marry Prince Edwin. Yumella firmly denied this, pointing out that there had been no announcement about it. Realizing her mistake, Eleonora apologized and offered to be friends if Yumella agreed to stay away from Prince Edwin. Later, Yumella was approached by Alicia and other friends who started a conversation. Suddenly, Alicia asked Yumella if she was the Demon King, which completely surprised Yumella and everyone else around her. Yumella wondered how Alicia knew about the Demon King's return. Alicia explained that Prince Edwin had told her the Demon King would return in 2 years. Yumella was shocked because she had only met the prince a week ago. She asked if the prince had told her everything, but Alicia cleared it up, saying he had only mentioned the Demon King, not that Yumella was the Demon King. Prince Edwin and his friends showed up, upset with Yumella. They demanded an explanation about Alicia's questions. Yumella told them that Alicia thought she might be the Demon King and she was answering her questions. Yumella realized that the secret about the Demon King's return had to be kept hidden, but Prince Edwin assured everyone that the Demon King would return in 2 years. William got angry and asked if Yumella planned to hurt them. Yumella challenged him to try to defeat her. Then she asked Oswald if he thought she was the Demon King. Oswald said her powers made her suspicious. Yumella admitted that she was strong, but told them they needed to get stronger to defeat her. She offered advice on how to level up. They should defeat monsters on their own, use growth talismans, and fight monsters that focused on offense. She suggested that Alicia should level up in dark dungeons to speed up her abilities. After giving her advice, everyone was shocked. Edwin got mad and accused Yumella of trying to harm them. Yumella reassured them and offered to team up if they were scared, but Edwin said they didn't need her help and would get stronger on their own. They left her behind, and Yumella felt they didn't understand her. She wondered why Alicia was so interested in her at the academy. Yumella notices Alicia playing with a cat, and when Alicia leaves, Yumella decides to play with the cat too. As she got closer, the cat got scared, and Yumella realized that animals had been avoiding her since her reincarnation. She also noticed that a classmate had seen her and tried to convince him that he hadn't seen anything. The boy agreed, and Yumella walked away. Later, Yumella saw he studying with Alicia and Edwin. Alicia showed Edwin a drawing that looked like Yumella and shared her suspicion that Yumella was the Demon King, saying she saw something the others didn't. Edwin explained that just because Yumella was strong and used dark magic didn't mean she was the Demon King. He also mentioned that his father wanted Yumella to join the fight against the Demon King. Yumella went to see the principal, Ronald, who greeted her kindly. She asked about the previous principal, but Ronald assured her there was no need to worry. Yumella sensed that Ronald knew about the Demon King's return, which suggested that the king trusted him. Ronald commented on Edwin revealing the state's secret, but told Yumella to forget about it. Yumella asked about the royal family's knowledge of the Demon King, but Ronald didn't know much, which worried her. He asked her to help with the administrative side of the upcoming field lessons, where students would hunt monsters to level up. Since Yumella was level 99, she didn't need to participate. The classes were divided by the nobles' rank, with Yumella in charge of the regional ones who faced more monsters. Yumella learned that Prince Edwin and his friends aimed for level 40 before graduation, but she hoped for level 60. The principal doubted this, saying Captain Adolphe was already level 60. Yumella thought that the current plan wasted energy on low-level monsters. Patrick Ashe agreed and suggested splitting into vanguard and rear guard teams for efficiency. Yumella summoned monsters, and the students followed Patrick's plan. The vanguard held off monsters while the rear guard used spells and arrows. A monster nearly hit a vanguard student, but Patrick protected them. The students, exhausted, defeated the last monster. Patrick asked Yumella why she summoned the monsters without warning. Yumella thought he was upset about the rear guard's exhaustion and promised to handle it better next time. Unexpectedly, Yumella played the flute again, and Patrick tried to stop her, but he was too late. The students panicked, fearing they were really going to die this time. Yumella reassured them, saying she would freeze the monsters in place while the vanguard finished them. She used dark magic to weaken the monsters and ensure everyone's safety. She explained that her dark binding magic would completely stop their movements. She told the vanguard to go ahead and attack the trapped monsters, assuring them they would be fine. Patrick tested her method by attacking one of the immobilized monsters and confirmed that Yumella's magic worked. Yumella then approached Patrick, praising his leadership skills and mentioning that he must have had battle experience before coming to the academy. Patrick said he believed Yumella meant no harm. Just then, another monster appeared and charged at them. Patrick tried to fight it, but got slightly injured. Yumella stepped in, striking the monster with her hand and quickly defeating it. She then used dark magic to heal Patrick, explaining that while dark magic could heal, it looked very scary. Feeling no pain, Patrick moved his arm and found it completely healed. He thanked Yumella for her help. Yumella then asked Patrick why he jumped before her when the monster attacked. Patrick said he thought she might be in danger. Yumella was surprised that Patrick still tried to protect her, even knowing how strong she was. He then told her to take better care of herself, stressing that she should act fast if something happened. Yumella was left thinking about Patrick's real concern for her safety. She felt a mix of embarrassment and gratitude for his care. Patrick warned her to be careful when using the flute to summon monsters and told her to be cautious next time. But as expected, Yumella decided to use the flute again, causing the students to panic once more. She used dark binding magic on the monsters again, planning to strengthen them since they were noble children and should be exceptionally powerful. Yumella was called by the principal, who cautioned her against using the summoning flute to summon monsters later. Surprised by the healing properties of dark magic, the principal learned from Yumella that it could regenerate limbs. She recounted a childhood incident in which she had regrown her lost arm. Yumella asked about the noble's lessons, and the principal mentioned Prince Edwin and his friend's successful combat reports. However, Yumella was worried that their involvement in killing monsters hindered the growth of other students. When discussing Alicia, the principal noted her lack of monster kills and suggested Yumella help her become stronger. Yumella eagerly agreed, but the principal denied sending her to a dark dungeon. The principal then asked Yumella to test her endurance by bending a piece of armor, which she did effortlessly, surprising him. Later, Yumella encountered her friend Patrick, who scolded her for using the monster-summoning flute. Admired by classmates, Patrick was urged to lead the next field lesson. As he departed, Yumella realized the extent of everyone's trust in him. Yumella noticed her life had slightly changed at the field training ground since the lesson. Patrick occasionally approached her, signaling a shift in their dynamic. When practical lessons began, students formed pairs. Yumella stood alone until Patrick suggested they team up. She hesitated, unsure due to his popularity, but he insisted, saying he owed her. Yumella questioned if it was because she had treated him before, and Patrick joked about the time she had accidentally injured him, leaving Yumella embarrassed. When Patrick leaped to strike Yumella, she accidentally injured his left arm with a powerful blow. Concerned classmates rushed to check on him, while Yumella apologized and treated his injury. Despite Yumella telling him she had learned much from him, Patrick felt unworthy of being her sparring partner. She mentioned the Demon King as her motivation, surprising Patrick with rumors of his return. Yumella admitted she had lied about not hearing anything and recalling secret conversations with the king. She also noted Prince Edwin's flirtations around the academy and declining popularity. Yumella then asked Patrick if he believed the rumors that she was the Demon Lord. Patrick cleverly responded that the world would have ended if she had dismissed the rumors. He was furious that people speculated she was the Demon Lord due to her hair color. Patrick then confessed his childhood insecurities about her hair color, but Yumella admired his silver hair. Patrick reassured her, admiring her strength and kindness regardless of her appearance. They shared a moment of appreciation for each other. They decided to duel again, but when Patrick struck her, Yumella retaliated with a strong blow, sending him flying and shocking everyone. She quickly apologized and treated his injuries, and Patrick reassured her he was fine. Standing together, Patrick complimented her, saying she used her abilities confidently. Yumella reflected on her friendship with Patrick that night, remembering his caring words. She thought about the adventures and wars awaiting them in this world of new friends. They participated in their second field lesson in a distant area a few days later. Patrick expressed confidence that she wouldn't use the flute's power to summon monsters again, and Yumella assured him she wouldn't since the principal had scolded her. As all the students gathered around the lake, the teacher told them they would face different monsters. Bored, Yumella summoned a friendly monster to play with. She observed the students performing well, though the atmosphere felt more relaxed than during their previous monster encounter. Yumella then noticed a student with a minor injury and rushed to treat him. The teacher reassured Yumella that the student's injury was minor and didn't require her help. Bored, Yumella insisted she had nothing else to do and offered her magical healing. She quickly healed the student, which left the others horrified. Despite this, they thanked her and the teacher granted them a short break. Yumella reflected that the relaxed atmosphere hindered their leveling progress, believing improvement required constant danger. She attempted to use the flute, but Patrick quickly intervened, reminding her it was too dangerous. Yumella argued that the situation was too easy and that the students could handle more. She suggested increasing the lesson's difficulty to match their abilities. Patrick agreed with her logic but refused her idea of sending each student into a dungeon alone, citing the danger. Yumella insisted the current approach was ineffective, making them kill low-level monsters in a time-wasting manner. She proposed using magic to injure the students and increase their focus, surprising Patrick. She reassured him that the injuries wouldn't be lethal and that the students would benefit from the experience. Faced with the choice of injury or the flute, the students unanimously chose the flute. Yumella snatched and used the flute, prompting Patrick to organize the students as fish emerged from the water quickly. Yumella admitted to herself that she had gotten too excited about leveling and felt she had been rude to Patrick. He led the students, emphasizing the importance of maintaining formation and assuring them of victory. Yumella noticed Patrick using wind magic to enhance his voice, admiring his strategic brilliance and grew combat skills. After the monsters were defeated, the situation calmed and everyone praised Patrick for his leadership, while Yumella was left alone. The scene shifted to the academy, where Yumella returned without speaking to Patrick, assuming he was disappointed in her. To her surprise, she felt quite sad at the thought. She treated it as a return to her earlier state when she had no friends at the start of the school year. Suddenly, Alicia approached and apologized for assuming Yumella was the demon lord. Yumella understood Alicia's fear but appreciated the genuine apology. Prince Edwin confronted Yumella about the field lesson, questioning her intentions and threatening expulsion for putting the students at risk. Patrick intervened, explaining that while Yumella's methods were unpopular among central nobles, they effectively raised the students' levels and didn't violate any laws. Reluctantly, Edwin backed off. Patrick reassured Yumella, acknowledging that Edwin's words must have been harsh on her. Yumella thanked him sincerely while noticing his frustration. Patrick expressed concern for her well-being, but Yumella reassured him, mentioning her past depression and that she was fine now. Patrick suggested they return to the classroom, and as they left, Yumella wondered if they could be friends but hesitated to ask such a significant favor. As summer break began, students headed home while a few, like Patrick and Yumella, stayed at school. They watched their peers train with swords, and Yumella accidentally knocked Patrick flying with a powerful blow. Apologizing, she healed him and promised to control her strength better. She gave him a magic tool for practice but shattered it, revealing her struggle to suppress her powers. Later, Yumella was lost in thought during afternoon study time when two girls asked for advice. Excited by their interest, she felt included, but Patrick's sudden arrival surprised them. Curious about Yumella's level 99 status, the girls asked how she could help them level up. Yumella offered help, but Patrick advised her to be more socially aware. As Yumella considered his advice, she overheard students suggesting she and Patrick shared a sibling-like bond, making her wonder about the depth of their relationship. In the library, Yumella reflected on Patrick's leadership and her summoning abilities. Inspired, she decided to study military tactics to become a leader like him. Watching Alicia, she realized that Alicia wanted superhuman abilities like hers and agreed to teach her. Yumella explained her powers, leaving Alicia excited and grateful before she left. Alone, Patrick approached with pastries from the queen, and they decided to enjoy them in the cafeteria. While they chatted, Yumella's friend watched them together. The martial arts tournament season began as summer break ended, featuring sword fighting and magic. Initially hesitant to participate, Yumella decided to join after learning about the prize. She resolved to compete in both sections to earn the rewards fairly. Everyone gathered in the academy courtyard on competition day, including Yumella and Patrick. Patrick mentioned the necklace prize, making Yumella realize she had been tricked into participating to impress the nobles. She questioned Patrick about the nobles' interest in the event over other spectacles. Yumella rushed to the arena as the competition began, determined to win. A draw decided matches, and Yumella faced William in the first round. William expressed his determination to surpass Captain Adolphe and achieve his dream, which Yumella pitied. Yumella won as her opponent withdrew, leading to more withdrawals without actual fights. The final round pitted Yumella against William, promising an intense showdown. Yumella prepared mentally, confident that her opponent's mistakes would work to her advantage and eager to win. However, her confidence was shaken when William wielded a mighty great sword. Yumella recognized it as a weapon typically acquired late in the game, suspecting that William had secret connections. As the final round began, William charged at Yumella, wielding the powerful sword. Yumella skillfully dodged, frustrating him. Yumella decided to engage in suspenseful maneuvers to make the round exciting, inspired by her training with Patrick. William struck her sword, creating cracks. Fearing that her sword might break and lead to elimination, Yumella unleashed her strength and shattered William's sword with a special punch technique, securing her victory. Reflecting on her unexpected feat, Yumella was relieved that no one had noticed her hand moving independently. However, Captain Adolphe remarked on her incredible strength. drawing attention to her remarkable feat of breaking a great sword with her bare hands. As Yumella prepared for the magic section of the competition, a fellow competitor approached, acknowledging her impressive performance in the sword section, but warning her about the challenges of the magic section. He shared insights on the evaluation criteria, emphasizing the importance of magic strength, type, and execution accuracy. Despite his lower level, Oswald's proficiency in all 4 main elements gave him an advantage. He revealed his diligent approach to leveling up over the summer and acknowledged Yumella's true level, apologizing for any doubts. Yumella accepted his apology but stayed focused on her goal to win. Meanwhile, Alicia, a first-year student, captivated the audience with her unique magic. Guided by Yumella's earlier advice, Alicia's enchanting performance earned high praise from the teacher, who credited her captivating gaze and the beauty of her enchantment. Yumella contemplated her chances, realizing her unique abilities might give her an edge. Prince Edwin was impressed with his fiery whirlwind enchantment, scoring 90 points. Oswald then combined different types of magic, earning a perfect score of 100. He told Yumella she couldn't surpass 100, but she remained determined to tie if she achieved the same score. As Yumella prepared to perform her enchantment, she noticed Patrick standing at a distance, seeming distant despite knowing it was her turn. Though hesitant, Yumella decided to unleash her powerful black hole spell, which she hadn't fully used in a long time. The sudden whirlwind and rain caused by the spell frightened the audience, leading some to think she was a demon king. Realizing her mistake, Yumella was interrupted by the teacher, who ordered her to stop. After the chaos subsided, Yumella expressed her desire to show another enchantment to earn more points. To her surprise, she was told she already had 300 points, 3 times the maximum score. The director congratulated and presented her with the first-place necklace imbued with black magic, much to Yumella's delight. Later, Patrick congratulates her but expresses surprise that she wants the necklace despite her formidable power. Yumella internally resolved to show him the extent of her dark magic strength with the necklace, but Patrick became worried, knowing she struggled to control her power. The next day, Yumella sat in class, reflecting on the winter season and the end of her first year at the academy. People have feared her more since the martial arts competition, leading to her isolation. Patrick, the only one who approached her, sat beside her and asked if she was okay, but she was lost in thought. Edwin interrupted, asking if she knew anything about Alicia's missing belongings. Yumella denied knowing anything, and Edwin accused her of lying and threatened to expose her. Patrick angrily demanded evidence before Edwin made any accusations, but Edwin quickly backed off, mentioning another suspect before leaving. Knowing she hadn't bullied Alicia, Yumella thought about how others resented her for associating with the prince and his entourage. Later, Yumella caught a girl sneaking into the auditorium to steal 2 books. The girl lied, claiming she was worried about Alicia, but Yumella reassured her and was surprised by her assumption. The girl confessed she had hidden Alicia's belongings for Eleonora. Yumella told Eleonora, who was shocked by the situation. Despite the gravity of her actions, Yumella offered to cover it up, surprising Eleonora. Eleonora admitted her feelings for Edwin and her desire to come between him and Alicia, but Yumella reassured her that Alicia, a commoner, couldn't marry into the royal family. Eleonora relieved, and she believed she was the best match for Edwin and thanked Yumella for the advice. Later, Patrick scolded Yumella for not handing over the culprit for punishment. Yumella reminded him that everyone makes mistakes and forgiveness, when possible, was the best choice. She explained that reporting Eleonora would only worsen things for both of them. She then spoke about Alicia, describing her as a kind girl with light magic, unlike herself who had dark magic and a sense of being unloved. Yumella turned to Patrick and said she disliked trouble and preferred being isolated. This angered him and he stood up, trying to reassure her, promising never to abandon her. Yumella stood and told him she needed to return to the dormitory, leaving with his words still in her mind. 4 days later, Eleonora approached Yumella, who had followed her since the bullying incident. She offered tea, but Yumella politely declined, claiming to be busy. Yumella was trying to avoid Eleonora, knowing she was the daughter of Duke Hilros, leader of the opposition faction to the king. As Eleonora walked behind her, Yumella told her to stop inviting her, but Eleonora persisted with gifts and sweets. She then offered Yumella some homemade sweets. Yumella found them decent, but suggested they needed more sugar. Eleonora was disappointed, explaining that she had made them herself. Yumella sarcastically commented on how disgusting they were, expecting Eleonora to get angry. Instead, Eleonora became happy, admitting her failure and thanking Yumella for her honesty. Eleonora confessed that her friends always saw her as perfect, but Yumella was the only one who told her the truth. Yumella was taken aback by Eleonora's response, realizing someone might be manipulating her. She asked about the theft of Alicia's belongings, but Eleonora revealed her friends had instructed her to do it. Yumella, surprised and confused, wondered who could have prompted her. Despite everything, she liked Eleonora more, especially as Eleonora opened up about struggling with perfection and the expectations of her friends. Yumella thought others feared her, but now she considered that someone might be manipulating Eleonora. Eleonora then expressed her desire to be an honest and strong friend to Yumella, seeking her advice on her relationship with Prince Edwin. She placed her hand on Yumella's, referring to Yumella's previous comment about her and Edwin getting married. Yumella couldn't respond, overwhelmed by the situation. A few days days later, Yumella was reading when Eleonora entered her room. Yumella was surprised but didn't object, and the maid served tea. Yumella found the tea strange but learned from the maid that she couldn't refuse Duke Hilrose's daughter. Later, Patrick spoke to Yumella about Eleonora, suggesting she wasn't bad and encouraging her to try getting closer to her. Yumella said she'd think about it later. Eleonora then asked about her attire for the upcoming party. Yumella explained she had no partner and no dress. Eleonora offered to lend her one, and they went to Yumella's room. Yumella remained distant, uninterested in choosing a dress, but the maid grew frustrated, urging her to take care of herself. Meanwhile, Rita collected a parcel from the queen for the dorm. Yumella mentioned that the queen occasionally sent her sweets, but this parcel was larger than usual. After opening it, they found a dress. At the party, everyone admired Yumella's beauty. She noticed Alicia with her friends, and Eleonora asked why she hadn't asked Patrick to accompany her. Just then, Patrick appeared, mesmerized by Yumella. Eleonora quickly left, saying she didn't want to disturb them. Yumella thought of herself and Patrick as acquaintances. She stayed at the party but felt awkward in the dress. Noticing Patrick seemed unwell, she asked what was wrong, but he brushed it off. Patrick asked if she was looking for someone when William suddenly shouted about Alicia and Edwin. Alicia and Edwin were on the balcony where Edwin mentioned that Will and Oswald must be looking for them. Alicia told him she had found a spot with amazing stars and wanted to show it to him. Edwin was surprised, saying he didn't imagine her as bold. Back at the party, Yumella told Patrick she was leaving, but he held her hand, asking her to wait. Surprised, Yumella agreed to dance with him. They danced smoothly, and Yumella found it enjoyable. Everyone watched, but Yumella commented that it was because of her dress. Patrick said it was because she looked beautiful. Yumella was surprised, but reminded herself not to feel too happy or sad. She felt her hands sweating and was nervous about holding his. Patrick told her she was naive, and Yumella apologized, suggesting they dance again later. Suddenly, a boy appeared, asking her to dance. Yumella said she only cared about those stronger than her. The boy apologized and left, leaving Patrick disheartened. Before spring, Patrick invited Yumella to visit his place, but she declined, saying they'd meet when the new school year started. He was disappointed as he couldn't ask her for the holiday. Patrick mentioned he'd be training in the dungeons during the break until spring. Before the opening ceremony, Patrick saw Yumella with a black egg. Surprised, he asked about it, and Yumella joked it was her child. She then explained that Jessica had asked for help slay a dragon during spring break. Yumella agreed, remembering the in-game rewards. On the way, she asked about the dragon's fire breath, which Jessica's father confirmed in a letter. At Jessica's house, her father thanked Yumella, noting Jessica praised her strength. A soldier questioned Yumella's authority in the forest, but she used black hole magic to defeat the dragon. After taking down another, she claimed the dragon's egg. Yumella teased Patrick for thinking she laid eggs. They went to the garden where she revealed the egg was from a red dragon. Patrick asked if she planned to hatch it, and Yumella explained she had the king's and supervisor's permission. She admitted she was tempted by the reward but had become attached to the egg, even seeing it as her daughter. While they talked, Alicia stumbled upon them, freaked out by Yumella holding the egg, and quickly ran away. Patrick had been amazed by Yumella's wild and unique ways and admired the dragon's beauty. Just then, the egg had trembled, signaling it was about to hatch, so they had hurried home to prepare. In Yumella's room, they had waited together, watching the egg crack open to reveal the dragon's hand. Yumella had lovingly embraced the dragon as it had emerged, but Patrick had found it a bit scary. Yumella had named the baby dragon Ryu, and they had bonded as she had warmly welcomed him despite scaring the maid and Patrick. That night, Ryu slept with Yumella, and they drifted off. The following day, the alarm went off, and Rita discovered that the dragon had grown a lot overnight, causing a problem with how to get him out of the room. Yumella tried to convince Ryu to leave through the window and congratulated him when he finally had. She had then planned to find a place nearby for him to stay. But when they entered the school grounds, the girls screamed in fear at the sight of Ryu, and other students ran away because of his huge size. Confused by the chaos, Yumella had learned from Patrick that everyone had been scared of Ryu, but she had reassured them of Ryu's good nature and invited them to play with him. Chaos erupted as Ryu chased the girls, causing everyone to panic. Yumella realized that not everyone liked animals and asked Patrick if he liked Ryu. Patrick had admired the dragon's intelligence, but had thought it was too dangerous for him to interact with regular people. Ryu had then approached Patrick to play, but Patrick, frightened, had asked him to leave him alone. Yumella had tried to reassure him, but Patrick hadn't been convinced. Edwin then showed up, concerned about the dragon, and told Yumella to get rid of him. Before he could finish his sentence, Ryu had playfully bitten him, and Yumella had quickly intervened, warning Ryu not to play with strangers. Alicia had told Edwin to calm down, while Yumella had guessed he probably disliked animals. Soon after, Eleonora approached and became fascinated by Ryu, petting him and admiring how cute he was. Ryu responded by playfully interacting with her, making her happy as she had become the only noble girl bitten by a dragon. They eventually found a place to keep Ryu, a storage room on the school grounds. After this, more and more people started to fear Yumella, quickly running away whenever they saw her. Yumella then admitted to Patrick that she had mixed feelings, hinting their desires might align. Patrick had been surprised, thinking she was about to confess her love, but Yumella had revealed her true feelings, saying she wanted to ride Ryu, which had disappointed Patrick, who had thought she was about to tell him she loved him. They had then turned their attention to the now larger dragon, and Patrick had noticed a ring on its claw that Yumella had placed to show it belonged to the kingdom. Yumella, though afraid of falling, had promised Patrick she would be careful during the flight. She had climbed onto Ryu and they had soared above the city, causing people to panic as Ryu had performed tricks in the air. Yumella suddenly fell off Ryu's back and the dragon tried to catch her, but Yumella had told him to keep flying alone to avoid causing harm to the city. Unable to use wind magic to slow her fall, Yumella aimed to land at Ryu's house, crashing into the earth and going deep underground. Worried about her safety, Patrick quickly descended into the pit to rescue her and insisted on taking her to the nurse's office. Yumella had reassured him that she was fine and could walk independently, though she appreciated his concern. She hadn't been hurt by the fall at all. Later that afternoon, Yumella went into town to buy supplies for Ryu, including a saddle, food bowl, and toys to train him. Suddenly, a stranger claiming to be a spy from the kingdom of realists approached her and asked for a private conversation without waiting for her response. A spy from the nearby kingdom of Remless named Linus met Yumella. He suggested they talk later over a meal, but Yumella said she was too busy because of the curfew. Linus starts talking about Remless, telling Yumella that it is near Volshing where Patrick's family lives and that Remless doesn't get along with Yumella's kingdom. Yumella became curious and asked why he was telling her all this. Linus admitted that he knew Yumella wanted to leave and hoped she would come to Remless, offering her a chance to settle there. Yumella became worried about the risks and asked what he was offering. Linus said they wanted her to be a civilian soldier, which made Yumella realize it could put Patrick's family in danger if there were a conflict. She refused, saying she would stay loyal to her kingdom and not support any aggression. As soldiers approached, Yumella told Linus to leave quietly, thinking they were being watched. He thanked her and went through the back window, thinking over what she had said. Yumella decided to protect her kingdom and Patrick on her way to the academy. She felt a new sense of purpose, admiring Patrick's kindness and strength, and wondered how he balanced both so well. She talked to him about their relationship, and Patrick reassured her that he valued their friendship and would support her no matter what. Yumella blushed and thanked him. After reviewing their results, Yumella congratulated Patrick for being the top student. Just then, Eleonora interrupted, asking for help with her makeup exam. Yumella suggested that Eleonora ask their high-achieving friends, but Eleonora insisted, so Yumella agreed. Yumella quickly realized that Eleonora struggled with regular study methods, so she connected Eleonora's interest in Prince Edwin's family history to studying past kingdoms. Eleonora loved the idea and helped her do well in her studies. Eleonora was grateful and gave Yumella a necklace as a token of appreciation, which Yumella happily accepted. Later, Yumella invited Patrick to join her for a flying lesson with Reeve, but Patrick declined, saying he had plans. Yumella became curious about where he was going, but Patrick avoided the question and left quickly. Unbeknownst to Yumella, Patrick headed to a nearby dungeon to fight goblins, wanting to get stronger to match her. When he got home, Yumella surprised him by asking if he had a girlfriend because she was suspicious about where he had been. Patrick cleared it up, saying he didn't have a girlfriend. Before he could explain further, Ryu signaled Yumella to leave and their conversation was cut short. As Yumella flew away, Prince Edwin arrived, commenting on her odd behavior and asking Patrick for help with something. The next day, Yumella went to Prince Edwin's room where he apologized for his rudeness, admitting that he had thought she was the demon lord. Yumella thought Prince Edwin and his friends were still immature, but she listened as he explained that he had changed his mind thanks to Patrick's advice. Prince Edwin asked for Yumella's forgiveness, which she shyly granted. She was curious about what Patrick had said about her, but became angry when she heard him praise her, saying she was carefree and did whatever she wanted. Then Principal Ronald asked Yumella to meet with him and talk about Prince Edwin's group struggling in dungeon raids, especially Alicia. He was worried about Alicia's progress and the risks to their mission against the demon lord, so Yumella offered to help. However, Alicia refused her help, not wanting to go into the dungeons with Yumella. Days later, Yumella noticed Alicia was missing from the academy and everyone worried. Patrick told Yumella that Alicia had disappeared and Prince Edwin's group arrived to find her. Yumella denied knowing where she was, but the group started searching for her, fearing she had been kidnapped. The scene shifted to Alicia, who appeared to be in a trance and was being led into the forest by Yumella, who spotted her and called out, snapping Alicia out of it. But then a scary shadow appeared, making Alicia feel scared. She quickly recognized Yumella and became confused about where she was. Yumella told Alicia that she was worried about her, and Alicia mentioned how she sometimes lost control of her body, like when she joined the Royal Academy and during the contest. Alicia felt uncertain and thought that someone might be controlling her, but after Yumella reassured her, she calmed down a bit. Yumella realized this was part of the game's plot, but she didn't tell Alicia everything, instead saying it was just stress. Alicia decided to head back to the academy, but Yumella suggested they check out a nearby dungeon so Alicia could level up. Yumella gave Alicia a protection amulet. Even though Alicia was hesitant, they tried to enter the dungeon. The guards stopped them, but with Ryu's help, Yumella forced them to back off, allowing them to join. Inside the dungeon, Alicia gets scared by a group of monsters and uses her magic to defend herself. Yumella, who had completed this dungeon many times, stepped in to guide Alicia through the maze of monsters, explaining their challenges. Alicia struggled at first, but Yumella encouraged her and helped when necessary. Alicia started gaining new skills, and Yumella explained that she would continue getting stronger as she leveled up. Things took a turn when Alicia triggered a trap and faced a monster. Using her new magic, Alicia managed to defeat it, but she got hurt in the process. Yumella healed her using using dark magic, which Alicia wasn't happy about initially, but she was grateful once it worked. When they reached the final floor of the dungeon, Alicia faced the boss, but her magic didn't do much. Yumella stepped in and defeated the boss, saving Alicia. Once Alicia woke up, Yumella explained the protection amulet and told her to replace it later. They opened a treasure chest and found more protection amulets, which Yumella insisted Alicia keep for safety. Yumella said their adventure wasn't over. Alicia needed to work through the dungeon until she could defeat the boss alone. Alicia leveled up faster than Yumella had expected, which made Yumella think the game might have been helping her out. Still, Alicia struggled with the final boss, so Yumella helped again. After several tries, they found valuable treasures, including a dark sword that Yumella kept and a wind spear she planned to give Patrick. After more attempts, Alicia finally beat the boss and got a light sword. But when Yumella tried to touch it, she couldn't because it reacted to her dark magic. They returned to the surface and Yumella proudly declared that they had succeeded, asking Alicia if she had enjoyed the adventure. Yumella then suggested they go to the Demon Lord's location, saying her level 99 instincts had led her to it. They started traveling there, but a rainstorm forced them to return to the academy. Once they returned, Yumella announced that Alicia was safe and everyone was relieved. Yumella gave Patrick the wind spear and handed Alicia some magic stones, which William struggled to carry because they were heavy. The next day, Alicia practiced her spells, showing how much stronger she had become, and the boys realized they would need to work harder to catch up. Seeing this, Yumella planned to take Alicia to a more difficult dungeon, recognizing her potential. Patrick realized he needed to improve and started thinking about how Alicia felt about Yumella. Yumella was walking around campus when a man approached her and asked for her help with an experiment. He led her to a classroom and showed her a device designed to seal magic. He instructed her to use her full magic power, so Yumella complied. To her surprise, the device remained intact. The man then revealed his true intentions. He had called in his associates to attempt to kill her, thinking her magic would be sealed. However, Yumella easily broke free from the restraints, demonstrating her incredible strength. The would-be assassins panicked and claimed it was all a prank, but Yumella didn't believe them and was arrested. The principal warned her to stay alert, suspecting there might be a spy within the academy. That night, an assassin tried to kill Yumella while she was sleeping, but his knife broke upon contact with her skin. Yumella, unfazed, asked him what he was doing, which caused him to flee in fear. The next day, Yumella told Patrick about the attacks and instructed him to keep his distance to avoid further trouble. Suddenly, she sensed arrows flying toward them, but easily stopped them. She then caught the assassin and expressed anger that the arrows could have hit Patrick. Later, Yumella went into town in disguise and saw some kids playing. A boy was watching them from afar, ashamed of his dark hair, making him feel like an outsider. Yumella shared that she also had dark hair, which had once been avoided, but eventually people accepted her. Encouraged by her words, the boy considered joining the others. Just then, some thugs appeared and recognized Yumella. She warned the kids to be careful and used her magic to deal with the men. The kids were amazed by her power as she questioned the leader. He explained that he didn't know who had hired them since their client's face was hidden. Yumella then went home and told Rita about the incident, mentioning that she had handed the assassins to the authorities. While drinking her tea, Yumella noticed it tasted strange and asked Rita to try it. Rita panicked, confessed, and begged for forgiveness. She had poisoned Yumella's drink because her sister was being held hostage. Rita explained that the poison was deadly with just one drop, but Yumella was unharmed even after 5 drops. Rita revealed that she had been feeding the assassins to Yumella's father. Yumella asked about Rita's sister and discovered she worked at Yumella's father's mansion. That night, Yumella and Rita went to the mansion and found Sarah, Rita's sister, who had no idea what was happening. Sarah was shocked to see Yumella and said she was being held hostage, fearing for her life. Rita begged Yumella to spare Sarah. Yumella understood and forgave them. Grateful, Rita swore loyalty to Yumella. Yumella told them to wait while she went to speak with her parents. Yumella's parents didn't recognize her at dinner until she revealed her identity. They were surprised and admitted they had hired the assassins, believing Yumella was working with the king to destroy the anti-king faction. They felt ashamed of her and thought it would be better if she died rather than be handed over to their enemies. Yumella tried to explain, but they wouldn't listen, thinking she wanted power through war. When she told them to return to their land, they revealed that they didn't want to stay there because life in the country was dull and they didn't want her as their daughter. Realizing they were hopeless, Yumella demanded her father give her his title, reminding him that she was his only heir and would become countess when he died. Her father saw this as a threat and attempted to call the guards, but Yumella told him they couldn't stop her. She summoned a black hole and threatened to kill them if they didn't comply. Her mother fainted and her father begged for mercy, eventually giving her the title. Yumella informed the king the next day about her decision to take over her family's domain. When the king asked why she wanted it, she explained that she sought power to end the discrimination against people with dark hair. The king understood it would be difficult, but admired her determination. Later, Yumella spoke with Patrick, relieved that the attacks had stopped. She admitted she wasn't sure if she could kill anyone and was glad she spared the assassins, but she feared she might have lost her compassion. Patrick reassured her, telling her she was a great person and praising her resolve to become countess. Yumella shared that meeting the boy had inspired her and that she realized she needed to change society to improve it for people with dark hair. Patrick agreed to help her. Yumella then told him she needed someone by her side to have a successor, which flustered him. He thought she would ask him to marry her, but instead, she asked if she could adopt him as her son. Patrick immediately refused, leaving Yumella Yumella confused and disappointed. She promised to be a good parent, but he still turned her down, making her wonder why he didn't want to be part of her family. Later, the kingdom celebrated Foundation Day, but the mood shifted when the king announced that the Demon Lord would soon return. He reassured everyone that they were prepared and appointed Adele as the supreme commander of the royal army. He also stated that Edwin would lead a special unit to defeat the Demon Lord. After the event, Yumella reflected on her goals and Patrick joined her, saying he had seen her from his window. Yumella was impressed by his sharp vision and learned it was due to his training. She found out he was already level 60, as strong as Adele. Patrick explained that he had trained in the dungeon during his free time, using the Amulet of Growth to level up quickly. Worried about his safety, Yumella urged him to stop, knowing exploring dungeons without the Amulet of Protection was dangerous. She told him she didn't want to lose him, and he admitted he felt the same when she did something reckless. They promised to be more careful. Curious about why he worked so hard to level up, Yumella asked. Patrick explained that he wanted to be stronger than her because she once said she only liked men stronger than her. Yumella explained she didn't mean it, saying it at the party to avoid dancing with other guys. Patrick said he wanted to be strong enough to stay by her side. They played rock, paper, scissors, and although she won, Patrick, unable to see in the dark, asked if he had lost. She told him he had won, guessing she liked him because he was better than her. They kissed as the celebration came to an end. Soon after, the Demon Lord and his army arrived. The high-level students were chosen to join the royal army, while Yumella led Edwin's unit to the Demon Lord's stronghold. Patrick had asked Yumella to wear the protection amulet to ensure she stayed safe, and she had agreed, reminding him to be careful since the royal army was fighting the Demon Lord's forces. Patrick had quickly put up a barrier to protect the students, but when a dragon appeared, he rushed in and killed it with one strike to the head. His strength amazed everyone, and his leadership gave the royal army a significant advantage. Meanwhile, Edwin's group had arrived at the Demon Lord's castle, preparing for the final battle. Yumella had told Ryu to join Patrick, knowing the Demon Lord could control monsters inside the castle. Alicia, grateful for Yumella's help in getting stronger, had been determined to defeat the Demon Lord and marry Edwin after becoming the saint. Edwin shared that a noble family had once lived in the castle, but they were never mentioned in the royal records. He had searched through old kingdom documents to learn more about the Demon Lord, even sneaking into the Royal Academy to find secret files, but had found nothing. As they had entered a strange room filled with dark bubbles, they had sensed danger. Yumella had quickly saved Edwin, but the others had gotten trapped. The Demon Lord had appeared and Edwin had prepared to fight. Despite their warnings, the Demon Lord had used a powerful spell, but Yumella had saved them all with magic. They had decided to team up and attack him, but he had easily blocked their moves and countered, sending them flying. Their amulets had protected them from death. Realizing they weren't strong enough to beat him, Yumella decided to fight him alone. Impressed that she had broken his spell, the Demon Lord had invited her to join him, offering her the chance to abandon the humans. Yumella had refused right away. The Demon Lord had then threatened to kill Alicia, so Edwin had tried to save her, but had been impaled and lost consciousness. Yumella had fought the Demon Lord fiercely, and with all her strength, she had managed to defeat him. The Demon Lord had been pulled into his black hole, but the black hole had continued growing, threatening to destroy everything. Alicia had used her holy shield to protect everyone who had survived. Everyone thanked Yumella, saying they couldn't have beaten the Demon Lord without her. They suggested she become the saint, but Yumella firmly told them that Alicia deserved that title instead. Suddenly, Alicia had stabbed Yumella, leaving everyone in shock. As Yumella had fallen, it had become clear that the game was controlling Alicia and was about to kill her. Edwin had rushed to stop her, asking what was wrong. Yumella quickly realized the situation. Since the Demon Lord had already been defeated, the game had forced her to fight Alicia as a hidden boss. She had understood that she would have died without her amulet of protection, which Patrick had given her, saving her life. The boys had tried to hold Alicia back, but she had overpowered them and approached Yumella using dark magic. Yumella had defended herself, explaining that the Demon Lord had cursed Alicia before his death. Although Yumella's explanation had been fabricated, it had convinced the others. Finally regaining consciousness, Alicia seemed like herself again, but had warned that she still couldn't fully control her body and urged Yumella to escape. Yumella was scared that she might have accidentally hurt Alicia if she had used her full power. Their last-ditch effort, Edwin had hugged Alicia and told her to stab him instead if she needed to use her full power. William and Oswald had encouraged Alicia to stay strong, and just as they were about to speak, Edwin had confessed his love for her. His emotional confession had seemed to break the curse, and Alicia had regained control of her body. Yumella then explained that love's power had broken the Demon Lord's curse, and Alicia would now become the saint. Just then, the skeleton army had surrounded them, threatening to kill them all. The group quickly jumped into action, attacking the skeletons. Yumella had noticed how eager her friends were to make up for their previous helplessness against the Demon Lord, especially Alicia, who had wanted to redeem herself. Even though Yumella could have easily defeated the skeletons, she had let the others take the lead so they could prove their strength. Soon after, Ryu and Patrick arrived, seeing that Edwin's group had defeated the skeletons. Patrick had asked Yumella what happened, and she had explained that they had defeated the Demon Lord. Patrick then revealed that the royal army had also won their battle. When they arrived in the capital, Eleonora was seen treating wounded soldiers. Edwin had proudly announced their victory, declaring that the Demon Lord had been defeated. Patrick, watching the celebrations, had asked if Yumella had wanted to join them, but she Alicia told him she preferred to be with him instead. Back in the capital, everyone had celebrated their return as heroes. Edwin had reported everything to the king, who had wanted to punish Alicia for nearly killing Yumella. However, Yumella had convinced the king that the demon lord had cursed Alicia and didn't deserve punishment. The group then returned to their peaceful lives. Oswald and William had continued challenging Yumella, wanting to get stronger. With graduation approaching, Yumella had begun thinking about returning to her domain, reflecting on her goals and the challenges ahead in future.